Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a DIY Dollar Tree farmhouse. Very cute fabric garland that I saw on Pinterest, and I was like, oh, this is so farmhouse and so fun. I have to share it with you guys. So we're going to use whatever fabric you want. Now obviously the gingham and the buffalo checked is so farmhouse, but you can do with anything, even some of these dish towels like from the Dollar Tree, if you want to make this a total Dollar Tree project. Now you can also use any styrofoam bowls that they have at the Dollar Tree. You can also possibly use like these baseballs that they have at the kids section if you want really big covered fabric balls. But actually we're going to buy some 50-cent ornament balls. These are sleeves of 12 and 15 ornaments. They had tons when I went to clearance, and you're going to need your glue gun, as well as some rubber bands is really one of the ways I'm going to show you how to do it. This is just a handful of rubber bands from the Dollar Tree bag, or cotton twine, and of course you can always use your jute cord as well. So I'm actually going to teach you two methods. They're both going to start off with the same way. You're going to measure how big your balls are. Unless you get a prepackaged of styrofoam balls that actually tells you they're 2-inch, 3-inch balls, you should just still manage to measure the circumference. I put a string around it. I put the string against the ruler. Boom, Bob's your uncle. I don't know why I keep saying that, guys. I have to tell you, but I don't know. I just keep saying it. Anyway. Then I transfer that measurement to the fabric to make sure I have it wide enough. I like to add an inch and then make sure that it's twice as long as the tube of ornaments. Okay? There's no science to that. You're just going to probably need twice as much as all of the balls lined up, because it does gather between each ball and it does take up some real estate there. Now, when I was picking rubber bands, I was picking ones that were neutral colored and ones that were towards the smaller side, so I wouldn't have to wrap them as many times. But the rubber band option is just one, and when you stay tuned, you'll see other options for joining the balls together. Okay? So I originally had started out with trying to do the small check, and then I went to the big check, and then I realized the big check with the small balls was not really, I don't know, you really didn't get enough of the pattern. So what I decided to do was to use the big balls with the big check, and that just made sense to me. So what we're doing here is I'm just using the inside of my scissor as sort of like a pliers to pull all of the little hangers off. And of course I'm saving them because you never know when you're going to need them for another project. That's another story for another day. But what I'm just doing is I started off by rubber banding the end of the fabric together. I fed a ball in to the opening of basically, so the fabric is wrapped around a ball. Put a dot of hot glue to close the fabric just so it wouldn't come apart on you. And then I added a rubber band to the other end of the ball. And I just repeated that 12 times. I did find it easier for the first two to basically get the rubber band. I mean, the first one to get the rubber band around the ball. But then after that, it was much easier to basically use the bottom of the fabric almost like you were putting a ponytail through. So the ponytail would be the bottom of the fabric. Okay? Let's see. We're just going to repeat this, and I realized that, I didn't realize, but I was checking as I was going along to see if the gold balls, that this package happened to be gold and glittery. It didn't come through the fabric at all, and this fabric does have white spaces. It was really good. But if you want to use a light colored fabric, keep that in mind, that you want your balls to have little to no pattern and be very neutral in color. Okay? And it was so much cheaper to actually do this with ornaments than it was to get any kind of other styrofoam ball. All right? Now, if you aren't fortunate enough to get these from the Dollar Tree, there are plenty of alternatives for you can use styrofoam balls for, but I thought that this was definitely the cutest, simplest way to do it, and least expensive. I would love to see if you guys actually make these, and if you do, please share them with me on social media. You can tag me in Instagram or on Facebook, and you can share it on Twitter as well as I also have Tumblr, but I don't think anybody but me uses Tumblr anymore. Okay? Or you can email me. It's usually the other way. If you're not on social media and you don't want to just email me to mrsgarthb2@gmail.com, I'd love to see if you make anything like this. Now, the other thing is this particular fabric is only 44 inches wide. And if you wanted to do it with the width of the fabric, then you would need to double up your fabric. And that is just very easy. All you would do is glue right sides together on the very ends to make a tube that is twice as long. But you definitely want to make your fabric twice as long as the container of the balls, because you, like I said, you do use some real estate by pinching between the balls. All right. And then once you have all of them done, this fabric I actually cut a little short because I originally cut it to put the little ornaments in, so there was some slack, but this one I cut a little bit short for these big balls, so I was ending up having to pull some of them closer together than others, but it worked out okay. It worked out. They came out really nice. All right. Now, through the magic of television, we are on our last one. So now the rubber bands are okay and they're not very noticeable, but if you pulled it apart, you can notice that there were rubber bands. So if you want to disguise the rubber bands, I'll show you a couple of different ways. This is black and white baker's twine, excuse me. I got this one from the dollar spot at Target, but they do, because I used up all the black and white out of the set that I got from the Dollar Tree. But you can wrap it a couple of times around the rubber band, then tie a bow. You can also do it with jute or the cotton twine that you can find in the automotive section, or the toolbox over at the Dollar Tree as well. They sell cotton twine at other places as well, but it's really inexpensive there. You get quite a bit of it. All right, and any of those would look cute. Just wrap them a couple of times around the rubber band and then tie a bow. And then you want to do is optional, depending on what you want to do with your garland, is I went ahead and I added loops at both ends so that I can actually hang it. I just tied a string on the end and then tied the end of the two strings. You know, when you tie something, it's two ends. So I tied it around it, tied it a knot, and then tied the ends together as well. Okay? And that's that one. And I totally love this one. I do. I love that big buffalo check, and it was really nice with these ornaments. So here's what it looks like. I just put it on my forever tree, and it will stay there forever. That's what this is here. I love it. It's absolutely gorgeous for my black and white dining room. Okay. And now I'll show you the other one. I like the scale of the other ornaments with the small gingham, the black and white gingham. But I want to show you, this is a quicker technique if you actually have the ornament balls, this ornament package from the Dollar Tree. I'll show you, this is a really, really quick technique. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to pull all of the stoppers off, just like we did before. Now you could use the pliers for this. If you have a really good grip, you can do that as well. You can also stick something in the hole and pop them off, but I just use the inside of my scissors and they pop right off, no problem. Okay, and now you want to take the tube or an ornament and you want to make sure you have enough fabric plus an inch, and then cut it off. And you want that fabric to be twice as long as the tube, just like before. Right? And now put all the ornaments, sans their tops, back into the tube. And now, starting on one end of your fabric, you're going to wrap this around your tube. You're going to glue the fabric to the fabric, not to the tube. And then you'll slide your tube along on the inside. So what we're essentially making is a tube of fabric. So for this one, I wanted to have a neat finish, so I actually folded the fabric under, almost to make like a seam allowance. So I wrapped the piece of fabric over the tube from the bottom, say, and the top piece I folded onto itself and then glued there and glued down. And I just do a little section at a time. You want to move the tube along on the inside because you don't want it to be like permanently glued to the tube in case the glue comes through the fabric. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to worry about, we're going to fold over the edge. I have fabric coming around one way. I put a little glue across the bottom. I fold the very edge of that fabric up. Okay? Now I'm just making sure that the the end of the tube has that little cap on it. It was just getting stuck there. So I wanted to make sure I can move the tube on the inside of the fabric. So you don't want to make it too tight, but you just want to make it just fitted. Okay? And then I found it's easier if I work. If I work in the other direction, it's much easier for me. Actually, that's to keep it on camera for you guys, to be honest with you. So you're just going to move it along. I'm trying to keep it as evenly pulled as possible so I don't have like a big wavy lines, but that really is not even a problem, because once you pinch everything closed, then you'll see that it'll change anyway. All right? I'm telling you, this method is so much easier. And I know because I did this one second. But this one is really, you can really only do this if you get this ornament pack that's in a tube. That's what I'm trying to say. Or an ornament pack that's in a tube. Because Walmart also has 50% on their stuff. I'm filming this today. It's the 26th of December, where things are 50% off. I'm sorry, today is the 27th of December, so things are still 50% off at the Dollar Tree and Walmart. So you can hopefully still find some ornaments to make this beautiful thing. But this particular method will only work with the tube, is what I was trying to say. All right? So once you have the whole thing glued, then you can go back and you can fold over the extra fabric, fold under, I should say, the extra fabric, add any extra glue that you might need, and continue just to move the tube along so that it doesn't, you don't accidentally glue the fabric to the tube. If you did, it's not a huge deal. It kind of comes unattached from the plastic pretty easily. But you just want to follow that the whole way. And of course, be careful with this. You know, anytime hot glue is this close to fine work, if you need to use your Dollar Tree double-ended rubber spatula from Betty Crocker to press your hot glue down, that works as well. A lot of people have done that. Angela Whitman actually taught us that, or taught me that, I shouldn't say. I don't know if it was her original idea, but she's the one who taught me that. All right? And now, once we get to the very, very end, what we're going to do is we're going to tie a piece of jute on it, all right? Or string or ribbon or whatever you decide. We're just going to tie the end closed. And we're not going to leave too much fabric because this is going to be pretty close to being the exact width of this. And we're just going to tie a really cute little bow. And then we're going to turn. Oh, and you want to do that on the open end, by the way, of the tube. If you have both ends open, if you have one end closed, don't tie the closed end. Because all you're going to do is you're going to shake all the ornaments back into the tube. That's what I was trying to say. Oh gosh, I forgot to mention that part. So the opened end of your tube, tie that end off, and then pour all of the ornaments down into the tube. That's what I was trying to say. And once you have them all in there, starting at your knotted end, you want to just tie a string at the other end of each ball. That's it. This one is the easiest one, but you can really only do it if your ornaments are in a tube or some sort of tube-like package, okay? And again, you can use any of the tying strings. I wouldn't use the rubber bands on this just because you already have all the ornaments in there, and it's really not necessary. But I think this looks really cute with either the baker's twine, the cotton twine, or the jute. But I'm just going to jute the whole way. And what I'm going to do for for variations for this for you guys, I'm going to tie some of them in a knot and cut the string off so it's just a string. And then I'm going to tie some in a really cute bow, which looks really cute as well. So I'll show you the two variations when we're done. All right? And I'm telling you, this way is so much more simpler. It's just that you can only do it if you have an ornament tube. And I sound like a broken record, and I'm sorry about that. Okay. So you want to make sure that you kind of pull them, each one, the fabric around each ball tightly before you go ahead and tie the next one. And move each one along as well. And through the magic of YouTube, we're now miraculously at the end. So you want to tie off your last one, and you want to add a hanger there as well if that's what you want to do with them. And here's what the little one looks like. I just have them in a dish. I thought they were so cute in a pile in a dish. And this is what they look like on the tree. This is my forever tree, like I mentioned before. And I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. If you do, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your suggestions too. And like I said before, I'd love to see what you guys come up with. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe. And when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And since this is such an easy craft, share it with anybody you know who might want a touch of that farmhouse feel or country look, or even primitive. You've picked the right fabric in their home, and share it with them and see if they want to be interested and learn how to make them. And as always, you take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye.